can't tell you how many times I restarted this video, and then somebody let me know that the president made a speech, and I just watched it, and it's I don't know. All weekend I tried to figure out how to put the lesson together that I wanted to do, and I just couldn't figure it out, which is rare for me because I just had to be honest with myself. I'm bothered by everything that's going on, and you know, the murder of George Floyd, it's disgusting. And I think for today, I gotta, I have to address that, right? I think to give you some lesson about how to invest right now, as people are protesting out in the streets, and as the president is, you know, basically declaring what amounts to martial law, right? And notice, if any of you heard his speech, he didn't say a damn thing about black people. It was just typical law and order, protecting businesses, not even addressing what really is the problem. So I'm just going to talk about that for a few minutes, and all you have to do is watch, and that's pretty much it for today, guys. But yeah, the I think the hardest part about all this is, and I guess I'll first address this directly to the black students that I have. Um, you deserve a better country. You really do. This country has let you down so many times. The murder, the humiliation, the stripping of dignity that's gone on for 400 years. Just continuous repeat. I mean, it's amazing that we did that unit on systemic oppression. What was it? Uh, Months ago, back in the fall. And even if some of you were on the fence, about believing much of it, or, if some of you felt like things are getting better, I mean, literally everything that is happening now is literally exactly what we talked about. The murder of George Floyd, if you've seen that video, you could literally put that video side by side with Eric Garner, and it's the same damn thing. It's literally the same exact words. I can't breathe. One video, an officer has his knee on a man's neck. In the other video, the officer has a black man, in a chokehold. And then officers standing on the side and doing nothing. Two black men begging for their life, 6 years apart, and the same end result. So, for those of you who and us are just Americans who say, "Oh, this, things are better." It's like, no, they're not. It is the same damn thing over and over and over again. And I mean, to talk about what today marks the 100th year anniversary of Tulsa, literally 100 years later, and we're right back here again, and people are going to stand and make the argument that things have changed. I guess the reason I want to make this video is because you have the right to feel how you feel. If you feel angry, if you feel sad, if you feel frustrated, if you feel tired, if right now at the moment you hate things, it's okay. It's how you feel. And I guess what I ultimately want to warn you about throughout this is it becomes very hard to see clearly. And this is what I mean. It's like George Floyd is murdered, and the first 24 hours, you have all the comments posted about how bad it is and how wrong it is, etc. But then once people start to protest, all of a sudden now comes the playbook, right? Now all of a sudden first comes uh, the Martin Luther King quotes, right? And I'm talking about like it's white people, dropping these quotes, talking about how, you know, Martin Luther King protested peacefully, and these protesters aren't doing that. Well, first of all, Black Lives Matter has always been a peaceful protest. That is part of their platform. So do not let anybody convince you that Black Lives Matter is about violence. They are not. The videos that I've seen over and over and over again, especially out of Minneapolis, much of any looting and rioting was started by white people. And it's questionable as to whether those white people are part of the movement or are part of something else. But the point is, Black Lives Matter is a peaceful protest movement. That is what they have always been. Do not let anybody convince you otherwise, because they always use these words. They always associate Black Lives Matter and Antifa together, and it is not true. And also the way they portray Antifa is not true. Again, it is so easy to get caught up in the other things that the media will say, what people will post. Because, like I said, for all those people who are posting about Martin Luther King protesting peacefully, and then this is how you should protest, guys, if you remember, Martin Luther King and all of them were arrested for peacefully protesting. Right? Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Medgar Evers, there are mugshots of them because their peaceful protesting was seen as criminal. So all these people out here pretending that, oh, Martin Luther King did it the right way. No, because back then they thought he was doing it the wrong way. Just like, think back to when we talked about Colin Kaepernick, right? All Colin Kaepernick was doing was taking a knee. And do you remember how many people said, oh, he's doing the wrong thing. He is disrespecting the flag. Shame on him. He was pretty much fired from the NFL because of that. So, Colin Kaepernick takes the knee to protest police brutality. And people say that's not okay. Kobe Bryant wears an I Can't Breathe shirt. And people say he should stick to basketball. LeBron James talks about racism in America, and again, people say, shut up, LeBron, stick to basketball. Black actors and actresses give speeches at the Oscars, and what do people say? They say, shut up, focus on acting. We don't want to hear about politics from actors. Black Lives Matter for years protested peacefully. And again, what did people say? Shut up. The point is, guys, is that they will never, those in power, will never think whatever way you protest is okay. Because, like I said, the same people out there who are saying, oh, these protests should be peaceful, the rioting, you're not doing it right, well, they were the same exact people who were criticizing Colin Kaepernick. And boy, don't they wish that people were taking a knee today with everything that's going on. So don't fall for that BS. Like I said, we know what this is about. Black people are continuously murdered by police. Do not let people confuse you. Do not let all these subtle little messages, well, there's just a few bad apples. Well, they should protest like Martin Luther King. Well, they should do this. Well, should they do that? Because all that ends up happening is your message gets watered down. And whenever your message gets watered down, movements fizzle out. They're not watering down their messages, right? So why water down yours? If you're angry, voice that anger. If you're sad, voice your sadness. If you're tired, it's okay. But don't let people tell you how you should react to this. Again, I'm terribly sorry. You know, I know it's an important unit, but it's hard to teach. It really is hard to teach because, you know, every year I debate, you know, I debate like what type of impact it might have on you because I know it's hard stuff to hear. I admit this year I was able to integrate, you know, black successes a little more. You know, I still gotta, I always revise things, so it's still something that I gotta work on. But this year I felt that like you know, it was a better job of balancing the bad stuff with, hey, these are great things that, you know, black people, the black community has done. But yeah, every year it breaks my heart that I have to teach that to you guys. You know, I can't wait for the day when what's taught in that unit is purely in the past. But but yeah, it's hard. I just wish I could teach you guys just other stuff. You deserve better things. You really do. So I just want to say that I'm really sorry that you know, to quote Samantha, she said to me, she's like, the same, you know, it's the same script, different cast. I'm just so sorry. Um, and for those of us who are white, I mean, we really have to look in the mirror. We really have to decide, like, are we doing enough? Are we actively being anti-racist, or are we just against racism? Because being against racism isn't enough. You have to actively be anti-racist. And I think the scary thing is you know, the murder of George Floyd happened to coincide with the phone call that woman made from Central Park, and you know, guys, we all get the same racial education, white people, black people, etc. It's just we end up going down different paths because of that education. And I am sure that woman did not wake up that morning think that she was gonna, you know, make a phone call or anything like that. But the point is, when the moment came, I'm sure if you asked that woman, you know, oh, what about Trayvon Martin? She probably said, yeah. She probably would have said, yeah, Trayvon Martin's death is a tragedy, and I support Black lives. You know, she would have said all those things. But then when it came to the final moment, right, where she had to choose between doing what was right, she chose instead to try to call the police and say that a black man was threatening her. So, for those of you who are white, like, you have to understand that this, you always have to check yourself. You really do. It's not enough to just support people. It's not enough to have, you know, friends in your life who are black or people of other groups. You know, you actively have to fight this education that you've gotten your whole entire life. And if you want to be an ally to this, you have to learn to listen. You know, what does that mean? What does that mean to listen, to be an ally? You know, to be an ally means, well, you got to step to the side. And when I mean step to the side, that doesn't mean you do nothing. It means that you're not the center of this, right? That you need to support black people in this movement, and you need to support other groups, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. But like, that is what it means to be an ally. And it also means that when you see people saying stuff to minorities that is not cool, you need to call it out. You can't just stand there and say nothing. Because, believe it or not, the reason we end up with the murder of George Floyd is because we constantly let people get away with things that seem very, very small. But once we let those small people get away with those small things, we eventually end up with that. Because their whole lives has just been seen as okay. Every racial comment they made, a black woman changes her hair, and those comments like, "Oh, is that your real hair?" They're what we call microaggressions, right? And the constant allowing microaggressions to happen is why all these extreme things like murder and things like that happen. So if you want to be an ally, you have to stop that. Um, it's just hard. I have so much to say, and just all the words seem to fall short. I know that I know today marks Pride Day, and with everything that's going on, Pride's probably gonna take a backseat to a lot of this what's going on. But like, understand, guys, that the other issues are not gonna go away. Whether it's the issues that um, LGBTQ people face, the issues that American Muslims face, right, being labeled terrorists and the comments made to them, the the racism that Latinos face, being labeled Mexicans, and our issues with immigrations. None of these issues have gone away, but right now, you need to support black people. And that doesn't mean your issues don't matter. It just means right now, black people need your support. And when things come up in the future, and they will, hopefully, black people, you return the favor by supporting them. But that's the whole point, guys, is I've said this to you over and over and over. Those in power do not want change. And whatever change they do allow is enough change to not threaten their own power. So they benefit from causing division. They benefit from making poor white people think that their enemy are black people and immigrants. They benefit by making black people think that their enemy is immigrants. And as a result, all the people at the bottom just keep fighting each other and arguing with each other and fearing each other. And at the end of the day, those at the top just get to sit back and do what they do. So their biggest fear is people coming together. And I don't mean that in any like kumbaya way. I just mean it's like if you think back to Fred Hampton and the Black Panther Party, why was Fred Hampton seen as such a dangerous person to the American government? It was because Fred Hampton had a way of uniting black people, poor whites, and Latinos. That terrified them. So, for now, support black people in this. Whether it is sending your black friends a message, letting them know that you're thinking about them and you're okay, or asking them what can you do, holding your friends accountable to make sure they don't make ignorant statements and things like that. Hold your school accountable. Demand that you see yourself in the classroom, that you see yourself in the curriculums that you're learning, right? Talk about these things with your parents. And if you're tired, if you're just tired, it's okay. It's okay too, because sometimes you do need to check out. Like I said, I couldn't even plan a lesson today. Well, I know this is I don't even know if I don't even know if this is coherent, so I'm really sorry. But I just felt like I needed to address it, and this is the way I thought. So I hope all of you are doing okay, and I put the okay in parentheses because just saying the word okay with over 100,000 dead because of this pandemic, a black woman and 2 black men murdered, and people out there protesting for change, and rather than the president dealing with these issues, the typical law and order stuff. It's just all very disappointing. So again, I'm really sorry, guys. Just remember that extra credit assignment, attending the talk with Ahmaud Arbery's mother is today at 5:30. So again, I won't be able to know if you're attending it or not. Just remember that his mother, I mean, talk about like having strength to talk about the killing of her son, right? And how much strength that takes to put yourself out there and do that. So all of this is based on the honor system. So if you do attend the Zoom meeting at 5:30, again, I'll post another announcement today. Remember, you have to click on the PDF. It says RSVP here, so make sure you do that. And after it's over, just send me a message saying, I attended, and I'll make sure you get the extra credit. So, so take care, guys. Be safe. And I hope that one day you do get the country you deserve. And all I can do is promise you that I will keep trying my best as a teacher to do that. All right, guys. Be well.